Not to be a hater, but have y'all seen the mess Diddy's got his whole family wrapped up in? Girl, it's wild. Now the feds are after his kids, even his young daughters. Say what now? So you know how Diddy got arrested by the feds recently, right? Well, the tea just spilled and the full indictment is out. Turns out the feds snatched up the passports of all Diddy's kids and even his mama. Can you believe it? And get this, Justin and Christian Combs are apparently reading the writing on the wall. After they showed up in court to support Diddy during his first appearance, the streets are buzzing that they're now on the run. Yep, word is they know the feds are coming for them next. Like, seriously, what is going on with this family? But why are they dragging the young kids into this mess? And girl, are Justin and Christian actually involved in even more shady business? Let's break it down. If you've been keeping up with Diddy's drama since Cassie's lawsuit last year, you probably knew this wasn't going to end well for him. But child, no one could have guessed it would turn into this much of a disaster. The lawsuits that were filed, all civil. So we didn't expect criminal charges to pop up, especially since the statute of limitations had already passed on a lot of those cases. But honey, everything changed when the feds stepped in. They raided Diddy's houses in Miami and New York, seizing cameras and hours upon hours of video footage. That's when we all knew for sure Diddy was knee-deep in trouble. Lil Raw already spilled the tea on the disturbing stuff captured in that footage, and it's not looking good. A federal officer even said, "This isn't random. We're responding to detailed, explicit allegations. His name didn't just come out of nowhere." Girl, the feds are on a mission, and it's not looking pretty for Diddy. So Lil Rod was the first to stir the pot, tying Justin to Diddy's messy business. In his lawsuit, he spilled the tea that Justin's so-called job was allegedly getting young girls involved in these freak-off parties. Now, if you're wondering why fans are convinced Justin's on the run, this is it, because those freak-offs are at the heart of the federal charges against Diddy. And trust me, the last thing Justin wants is to be rocking matching orange jumpsuits with his daddy in prison. And this drama doesn't end with Justin, honey. Christian's name is getting dragged through the mud too because he's got an SA charge hanging over him. A woman named Grace O'Mara dropped some bombshells claiming Christian assaulted her on a so-called family holiday. According to Grace, she was working as a stewardess on a yacht Diddy chartered just before New Year's 2023. She told TMZ that she was doing her job during what was advertised as a family-friendly event, but things took a dark turn when King, aka Christian, allegedly got obsessed with her. She says he had her take a shot of liquor and suspected it was spiked. Can you believe that? But girls, it didn't stop there. She tried to shake him off, but King reportedly kept pushing, trying to kiss her and more, even though she told him no repeatedly. Grace explained that after a brief struggle, she managed to break free. But it gets worse. He then demanded she find him a place to sleep, and since it was her job, she had to escort him to the theater area. And that's when he allegedly cornered her again. Girl, not to be shady, but did you hear what went down? So, according to reports, King tried to corner her again and allegedly forced her to do the unthinkable, but she fought back. And let me tell you, she's not holding back in those documents either, honey. She even included photos of her bruised forearm, claiming it was from the altercation. Eventually, she says she managed to escape, but the emotional scars? She claims they've been haunting her ever since. Christian better run for the hills, because this isn't looking cute for him. And this time, daddy's money? Well, it won't be swooping in to save the day because, guess what? Daddy's got his own hot mess going on right now. Oh, but wait, it gets juicier. The feds finally decided to get involved with Diddy, and a few weeks ago, CNN reported that they've set up a grand jury to indict him. Yep, you heard that right. They're talking charges ranging from racketeering and, oh girl, so much more. Federal investigators are making moves, and according to two sources familiar with the tea, they're ready to drag some accusers of the music mogul Shaw Diddy Combs in front of a grand jury. It's looking like the U.S. Justice Department is gearing up to potentially slap an indictment on Diddy. And get this, they're notifying witnesses left and right, letting them know they could be called in to testify in front of the grand jury in New York City. They're even bringing in individuals who filed civil lawsuits against Diddy to testify. This is about to be a major escalation in the government's investigation involving the Bad Boy Records founder. Not to be a hater, but did you hear that a grand jury just voted to indict Diddy? Yep, he got arrested in New York, and let me tell you, everyone thought he'd get bail, but the court was like, psych, not happening. Federal prosecutors are legit worried that Diddy might try to intimidate witnesses or mess with the case if they let him out. And girl, it gets wilder. Prosecutors are saying Diddy's got both the money and the connections to be a serious flight risk. When they arrested him, they even found what looked like narcotics in his hotel room. He even tried to offer a $50 million bond and house arrest, but the judge shut it down. You won't believe the insane details of his bail offer. So here's the tea. Diddy's lawyer offered a $50 million bond, co-signed by his mom, sister, the mother of his oldest daughter, and his 3 adult sons. Oh, and that's not all. They wanted to secure the bond with the equity in Diddy's mansion in Miami. 2 West Star Island, if you know, you know. That house is appraised at a whopping $48 million, and Diddy even paid off the remaining $18 million mortgage just to use it as collateral for the bond. But wait, it gets better. The bond was also going to be backed by the equity in his mom's home on Alton Road in Miami. Oh, and Diddy's travel? It would have been restricted to the southern districts of Florida and New York, only for court, meeting with his legal team, and medical appointments. They even submitted this whole plan to the court, but the judge was still like, nah, and girl, Diddy's not playing. He already handed over his passport back in April. But to make things even juicier, he offered to surrender his mom's and daughter's passports too. According to the documents, his family, including Janice Combs, Chance Combs, Jesse Combs, Delilah Combs, and Love Combs, have already given up their passports to the lawyers after the raids on his homes. Have you seen the lengths Diddy's going to? Like, he's throwing all this around, and yet he's still denying bail. Girls, you know what that means? This case is way more serious than the feds are letting on, and it gets juicier because now word on the street is that multiple insiders are spilling the tea saying Diddy's own crew is turning on him. They're snitching for immunity and reduced prison time. If you don't know, now you know. This mess is only getting deeper.
My understanding is that there was a lot of individuals that were involved, and I think by looking at the indictment and seeing that only Sean Combs is the only defendant currently. Who knows if that increases and it gets superseded with a different indictment. But currently there's only one defendant. My guess is that all of those individuals that could have been co-defendants or could have been co-conspirators or could have been involved in a RICO case have flipped on Sean Combs, and they're getting some sort of immunity.
Girl, not to be a hater, but did y'all notice how Diddy conveniently paid off his mortgage right before the indictment hit? It's giving, I knew this was coming, so let me clean house real quick. Like, if his lawyers have even an ounce of sense, they had to know this was on the way and told him to get his stuff in order. It totally explains why he threw that $70 million LA mansion on the market out of nowhere. He needed cash ASAP to pay off that mortgage and make a few moves before everything exploded. And if you're wondering why the kids had to hand over their passports, one fan had a juicy take. Apparently, they think the kids' names are all over those offshore accounts, and they don't want Diddy sneaking money out of the country or using it to buy people's silence. Those offshore accounts, you can't touch them without being there in person and moving big money like that. Honey, it's not that easy. But while Diddy's daughters seem to be in the clear for now, the same can't be said for Christian and Justin. Word on the street is that they might be on the run, which is not a good look for them. Fans are out here saying Diddy's sons can be both victims and perpetrators, and you can feel sorry for the boys they used to be, but you still gotta hold the grown men they are now accountable. If they had anything to do with this mess, Diddy's empire might just crumble. And listen, the only people I'm really feeling for in all this are his daughters. His sons? Baby, they were clearly caught up in the same foolishness. And let's not even get started on Diddy's mom. She raised a man like this and turned a blind eye as long as her bills were getting paid. Oh, and why hasn't anyone mentioned how Diddy's sons are out here roaming free with their passports intact while the innocent women, especially his daughters, are being watched like hawks? King and Justin need to be looked at too, especially King. This whole situation is a mess, but girl, let me know how y'all are feeling about it. So girls, don't be a stranger. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for our next video. You won't want to miss it. Trust me, it's going to be a wild ride.